You're welcome back to Afia TV News Tonight's discussion segment. As you know, local government councillors play a crucial role in grassroots governance, serving as the link between the people and the governments. They oversee community development projects, implement policies, and ensure effective service delivery at the local level. However, despite their significant responsibilities, councillors across Nigeria, particularly in the southeast, face challenges related to underpayment and poor welfare conditions. And for over a decade, many councillors are alleged to have continued to earn the same salaries since 2005. Reports also suggest a significant disparity in earnings between councillors in the southeast and their counterparts in the northern part of the country. Tonight, we'll explore the causes and effects of these wage disparities and discuss practical solutions to improve the welfare of councillors. And now joining us in this important discussion is Honorable Dr. Nnamdi Odu, the Southeast Zonal Chairman of the Councillors Forum of Nigeria. Good evening, Honorable.
Good evening, Ada. Good evening. Thank you.
You're welcome. So let's start by understanding what are the key responsibilities of local government councillors in governance and community development.
All right. First, thank you so much for having me on this program. Most importantly, I'd like to state that councillors are the representatives of the people. And at that level, they are the first level, the basic level of governance. They are the aspirations of the people at the grassroots. The key role of councillors majorly are to formulate policies, to shape government decisions that influences or affect the people at the grassroots level. So these are the key responsibilities. They are the aspirations of the people at the grassroots level, and then they help government in shaping policies. So that is it. And at the council, they also look into the affairs of the chairman, of how government responds to the people's aspirations, needs, and wants through legislations. So that's it. Thank you.
All right. Given their responsibilities, would you say that they are being well paid?
Well, I will say this without fear or favor. Councillors are not well paid across the country. We have over 8,800 and something wards. I represent the Southeast. We have over 1,400 and something wards in the 5 Southeast states, and they are not well paid compared to what they are doing and they are offering. Yes.
Okay. So now let's compare welfare package of Southeastern local government councillors and the other 6 geopolitical zones in Nigeria. Would you say Southeast welfare is decent or satisfactory enough compared to other geopolitical zones?
Okay. Now, I represent the Southeast zone, and I have data. The Southeast zone councillors are not well paid compared to the other zones. I wouldn't like to mention figures. Maybe next time we can do that. But for today, I won't mention figures. But statistics show that Southeast councillors are not well paid. From Enugu to Abia to Ebonyi to Anambra to Abia are not well paid compared to the other zones Because I am the zonal chairman, I interact with other zonal chairmen. In fact, today I spoke with a councillor from Jigawa State, which is Northwest. Jigawa is under Northwest Zone. And we shared statistics. How much are you paid? And from what he told me they are paid, Southeast is lagging behind. And I hope that our Southeast governors can look into this. Thank you.
So in that case, it's safe to say that the Northerners earn better than the Southeastern councillors.
It is a fact, yes.
So now, how does this underpayment affect councillors' ability to carry out their responsibility?
Of course, you know that there is motivation. Councillors at the grassroots level, they need this motivation. The expectation, they live with the people, they stay with the people. What they are earning is not even enough to meet up their own personal needs. And for the records, I will say this. I am from Enugu State, and for more than maybe 15, 20 years, the remuneration of councillors have not been touched. So the expectation is more. And most often times, because the expectation is more, councillors doesn't meet up. So unless the remunerations are reviewed, they will not be motivated to provide that needed grassroots leadership that is required of them. Yes.
Okay. So now you said you once had conversation with other councillors in other geopolitical zones. Now the question is, what lessons can be learned? Okay, what lessons can be learned from northern states regarding councillors' welfare, and how can they be applied in the southeast? Did you get my question?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Okay. I said you have been in communication with other geopolitical zone councillors. So now the question is, what lessons can be learned from giving your conversation with them? What lessons can be learned from northern states regarding councillors' welfare? And how do you think they can be applied in the southeast?
There are lots of lessons to learn. Last time by December, we had a national convention, which we had at Abuja. We met so many councillors from across the country, from the north, from the west, from the south, everywhere. And the lessons to learn is this. Our political leaders down east need to be very conscious and intentional about mentorship, because most of these councillors from the north, they transit. It's easier to transit from the councillorship level to House of Assembly, to chairman of the local government, to another level. Councillorship is like a school ground. It's like a teaching ground. So down here in the east, we need to improve, especially from our political leaders. They need to give councillors relevance. They need to give councillors more, how do I put this now? They need to give councillors more rules to play in governance, with the intentionality that tomorrow these councillors can maybe become a local government chairman, a House of Assembly, this, that. So there are a lot of lessons we have to learn from our counterparts across the other zones. Yes.
So does that mean that giving you more responsibility means improving your welfare, or are you comfortable with the welfare but still need more responsibility?
Well, responsibilities should be commensurate with welfare. I've stated earlier that the welfare package of councillors in the southeast has remained untouched. I would like to state this: Enugu State and Bonny State have had their elections, local government elections, earlier than Imo, Abia, and Anambra State. And these states that have had it earlier are not really well. So more responsibilities, more welfare package. The welfare packages needs to be improved.
Okay. So among the southeastern zones, would you say all of them earn the same, or are there disparities in what they earn in terms of welfare?
Well, there are disparities. There are disparities. As the Southeast Zonal Chairman, of course, I interact with all the five Southeast zonal, all the five Southeast chairmen of Councillors Forum, and I have my data, I have my facts. There are disparities. There are disparities. They don't end the same. I wouldn't like to implicate anybody or say things that would be very controversial, but I expect that as councillors clamor for more, I represent their voice, I represent their interests, that all the five Southeast governors will maybe meet and harmonize the welfare packages of councillors.
All right. Before now, have you been pushing for improvement of your welfare? And what are the possible challenges you faced so far?
Yes, we have. Yes, we have. You know, this is a matter of strategy. We have been pushing, we have engaged some of the governors in the Southeast. We've reached out to some of the commissioners of local government and chieftaincy affairs across the state. We have engaged necessary stakeholders, trying to let our voices be heard. It's not about us that are in the system now. But if we don't get this right, even people are coming after us are going to suffer the same. And we have been pushing. We are pushing. And this stay part of us pushing so that our voices will be heard for an improved welfare packages for councillors.
Okay, so what measures do you think can be put in place to ensure councillors are adequately compensated and, of course, motivated?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
I said, what measures do you think can be put in place to ensure that councillors are adequately compensated and motivated?
Well, we can only do our part. We are playing our role by trying to see that our voices are heard. Politics is local, and we are drawing attention to the fact that councillors should be carried along. Councillors should be engaged. And we are hoping by the grace of God that our voices are heard. Like I've said earlier, we're engaging so many stakeholders who are already very interested. We're already talking, we're already negotiating for a better welfare. So the voices of councillors, I think, is beginning to reverberate across the Southeast and the country at large. So by God's grace, we will have better welfare packages for councillors.
Okay, so do you think there are moves they are making to actually improve it so far? Because you sound very optimistic. Do you think there are moves they've been making?
If I do what?
You sound
Sorry, I didn't get that question.
Do you think they are making moves, or are they just making promises?
Well, time will tell.
Oh.
Time will tell. but I'm very optimistic that it's not going to be business as usual. It's not going to be just promises. Councillors across Nigeria, especially Southeast, are very intentional with what they want. And because the bulk of the political falls on them, it lies on them. So, and by the special grace of God, I think we have governors. The 5 Southeast governors are good. There are people who are very intentional. There are people who have listening ears, who will engage them. And I think this time around, we're going to get a result.
Oh, okay. So are there possible legislative or policy changes you think that can help bridge the wage gap between Northern and Southeast councillors?
Yes, we also have our role to play. Councillors have their role to play because we can't just sit down and complain we are not treated well when we at our own local government level, our own council level, we can actually legislate. We can actually engage the local government chairman for oversight functions, for wages, improved wages. So cascading down at the local government, we can actually engage the chairman for an improved welfare. So through legislations, for instance, oversight functions, like I've said, and allowances. These are things we can engage our chairman with, and I am in contact with all the other 5 Southeast chairman, councillors forum, and we are engaging them and telling them what they need to do, what they need to tell councillors, and what councillors need to do down to their local government level.
Okay. So what are the potential sources of funding to improve councillor salaries without overburdening government budgets?
This is a very good question. I think this is a very good question because oftentimes when councillors clamor for improved welfare, people think, some state governors think that it's just about increasing wages, increasing bills. But down at our, practically, down at our local government level, each local government chairman can take responsibility for his councillors' welfare. Without depending on the center, that is the state government. Because oftentimes the state government is overburdened with so many things. Out of the Southeast zone, I think one of the states, let me not be specific, one of the South states, a local government chairman, took responsibilities and provided some incentive for his councillors. The local government chairman didn't wait for the state governor. Most of our local government chairmen, they know what to do. That is right. They don't need to wait for the state governor. They can be in tune with the state governor, not like they can go against the state governor, but the funding for wages, for incentive, for better treatment of councillors falls on the local government chairman, on the local government council, without overburdening the states.
All right, this is where we draw the curtain on tonight's discussion, and my guest tonight is Honorable Dr. Nnamdi Odo, Southeast Zonal Chairman of the Councillors Forum of Nigeria. Thank you for joining me, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate.
You're welcome. Do remember to join us on all our social media handles at Afia TV Officials. Many thanks for joining me. I am Anne Ugochinyere. Good evening, and of course, have yourself a memorable weekend.